Hello everybody, I'm Scott Spinola, Editor-in-Chief at 21ct.com, and we're here today to do our year-end wrap-up and a look at 2014, the biggest security stories of the year and what to look forward for next year. I have with me Tim Ray and James Lawler, Security Analysts here at 21ct, and they're going to give us our thoughts.
So I believe there's probably going to be new encryption standards coming out. I think they'll probably have some new, I don't even know what you'd call it at that point, but
certainly in response to everything we talked about.
Yes. So there'll be a new way to encrypt data. So as far as like a new encryption standard, it seems like you're always you make it better and harder to break encryption, but that encryption standard may be harder to implement because of the CPU cycles to actually decrypt or process or do something. So I mean, whereas it may be better in one area, it's always going to be lacking somewhere else. And depending on whether it's asymmetric or symmetric, I mean, it's all where you want to implement it. Right. And so,
well, and the answer to where you want to implement it is everywhere, right? Because we're staring down the Internet of Things right now. If we don't have some way to encrypt that stuff, to your point, right? If we don't have some way to encrypt or secure those transmissions, that's light on CPU time and easy to implement, then that's going to be the most fertile field for hackers. Everywhere is being able to take control of those little bitty things that surround us. Since everything's going to have that method of communication.
And technology is getting smaller and smaller, and so and hard drive space and computing power is getting larger and larger. And as those become, you got these small devices that are able to do these big things. You're able to put those kind of chips in your toothbrush, where now you have an internal pivot point on someone's network to then scan the rest of the network, because I didn't need that full 2 gig of hard drive space, but now I can go ahead and fill it up with whatever kind of packages or binaries to scan the rest of the net and send back the metadata of their network.
And yeah, it's the weakest. The principle is it's the weakest link.
We
always talk about that in security, that the weakest link in your network is the place where the attackers are going to come get you. And if the weakest link is the tiny little IP stack in your toothbrush, then that's something worthy of note.
So watch your toothbrushes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
so watch your toothbrushes in 2014. Right?
But brush your teeth with them.
And your car too. So as cars become more aware,
that's a good point.
Cars are becoming computers.
Yep, that's another.
There's been computers in cars for a long time, but they're becoming much more powerful computers.
And they have
interfaces with other devices.
And having a radio interface. So the old school security approach to computing was, if your computer is attached to another computer, it's potentially vulnerable. And of course, if you put a radio on the computer, then it's attached to lots of things.
Right. Attached takes on a different meaning.
Yes. So that's I would say that there was an old joke about what if Microsoft built cars, every once in a while you would turn the key on and the car would simply explode. Would that be okay with you? And as we add more computing power to cars and actually put operating systems in them, that joke is not far off.
Yeah.
I mean, is it possible to hack a car? Sure.
They have.
And I think
we're developing self-driving cars.
Certainly
somebody
they
has
have,
that.
but it's a very specialized process right now. I think it's going to become less specialized. I think it'll be way easier to do going forward. So that's something to watch out for.
So, question for you guys: as a non-security analyst, just a regular old user guy, one of the things I've become quite aware of over the last couple of years is that a vast amount of the security problems we have come down to people. They're doing dumb things, they're leaving stuff open like you said, they're having their password as 1234, these types of things. Do you think all these security revelations of the past year that we've been talking about, do you think it will have a positive impact on users' behavior, or do you think users are just going to keep doing what they do?
So, very good question. I think NSA, the leaks that Snowden did, definitely made users more aware. Now, as far as users using 1234 as a password, that's bad implementation on our end. As far as administrators or whoever's implementing some sort of, hey, we need this level. So, I mean, whereas we can blame the user for so much, but the fact that you are more ignorant than not is my fault, because I didn't try to educate you better. Part of my responsibility is informing them of what their own responsibilities are, as well as the implications of their actions, and how much them having access to this computer and this network affects everyone else on this network.
And just simply educating them, because most people, the vast majority of people aren't as intimately involved in security as you guys are,
don't
and
care.
don't know that sitting at a coffee shop on an open Wi-Fi is dangerous. They're on the internet. It's cool. We could do our banking. We could do this. They don't have any idea, most people, that that's a danger to them. Somebody else could be sitting at the coffee shop, downloading all their data and getting their passwords. And
I think that it's in some ways a highly individual thing. So we note at the corporate level that after a firm has been attacked successfully and actually suffered some kind of a business impact, assuming they survive, they're much more amenable to spend money on security.
Sure.
And I think that's true for individuals as well. I think that once you've been hit, once you've been hacked, and you actually are aware that it's not just, your credit card number was stolen from a repository of credit card numbers somewhere. It's that your session was hijacked when you were sitting in that Starbucks.
Right.
Once they're aware of that, I think that they're going to be more careful. I think once you've gotten burned, you get more careful. And I think that the Snowden stuff, the Snowden information will probably raise the level of awareness for people about passwords, but that's it's so large scale with him that it's almost too big for most people to think they make a difference. I mean, would the fact that Edward Snowden revealed all this stuff make you change your password? Probably not.
Because most people probably wouldn't make that connection.
No, why would they? Yeah, and to be fair, someone would think it's hopeless. They would say, oh yeah, well, I'm being listened to all the time anyway, so
Yeah.
why should I care? And the answer is, there's still a lot of people out there making their money by stealing stuff on the
Sure.
internet, and they care a
Big
great
money
deal
in it,
whether
so
you
they're
change
gonna-
your password, so make it harder for them.
Sure.
We should probably also add the traditional holiday caution, which is that during the holidays, people will try and take advantage. So,
Yes.
Very
Yes.
good point.
so be careful for the scams, particularly
Yeah.
this time of year.
If it sounds too good to be true,
It
it
probably
is.
is.
It is.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate your input on this and your ideas and all your opinions. Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you everybody for watching. Come back soon.